Hello, and welcome back in this new guide of Succession Warrior, specifically Succession LingCrit Warrior. In this guide, I will try my best to explain mechanics and tips about Succession Warrior. In the description, I will leave useful stuff such as different skill builds for different skill points amount that you might have, and the Holy Bible of Succession Warrior from Warrior Discord. So, the topic of this guide. I will first talk about my skill add-ons and which I chose and why I chose them. Then we will move on to the skill section, the skill that I use usually, and tips and mechanics of them. And then in the end I will showcase PvP combos such as my main combo and tips to combo with LingCrit and chain LingCrit. And then in the end I will leave some PvE LingCrit combo that I use. I am not a master grinder, but might be useful anyway. So let's get into it. So, skill add-ons for Succession Warrior, at least my personal preference. We don't really benefit from them so much, so it's mostly a personal preference. Of course, being a LingCrit Succession Warrior, Spinning Slash is absolute and Ground Smash is absolute too for the CC. And let's get into it. Counter. All accuracy +4 and attack speed +4. This is our main CC knockdown before the wombo combo. So it boosts our accuracy that we starve a lot and attack speed, which is always good. In general, I put accuracy and attack speed as add-ons because there isn't really much to put. Then moving next, shield charge, PvP attack +10 and defense +15. This for me is kind of important because I put shield charge in a, let's say, strategical position in my main combo. Then spinning slash, evasion +3% and damage over time of 50. Yeah, I know that this is kind of meme, but I didn't feel to put all accuracy +3% because anyway would have been replaced by counter or solar flare that is anyway more. So I said whatever. Then we have ground smash, attack speed and recover at 30 HP per hit. This is mainly for PvE that I did, but you know, could always boost some HP during a node war if you throw on a blob. Then we have solar flare. I think we can all agree that those are the best add-ons. All accuracy +5. It gives the most accuracy and damage over time, which is always good. Pulverize. This is mainly for PvE, so monster damage and attack speed +4. So that's it. It wasn't really much to say, but you know, it was important to say why I chose them. So yeah. Moving on into the skill section, I will leave a couple of skill builds depending on how many skill points do you have, so you can see what you can take and what you can save to take later. But yeah, in general, Succession doesn't really require many skill points, so yeah, I have just too many, so I took luxury stuff. In general, as a Succession, you want of course max all Succession skills except ground smash. You want absolute ground smash because of the CC and in PvP is huge. And if you are a LingCrit Succession Warrior, you want absolute spinning slash. For PvP is kind of preferential. I use it even PvP in node war, but for PvE is kind of a must. If you wanna be really hardcore, it's better than the normal Succession spinning slash. A quick note about a couple of skills that I use in general and that some people don't use, but I actually like to use. The main is deep ground slash, which is the third hit of ground slash, and I use a lot with LingCrit. Deals actually a huge damage, more than Scarf does, and I lock it just when I PvE because you can LingCrit ground slash in the first 2 hits of Heavy Strike, and is actually quite a huge boost. And another skill that I keep unlocked, even if usually you wanna lock in PvP, is Jump Thrust. And this is mainly for movement purposes, because you can chain with Solar Flare to have extra movement. So I like it to use and leave it unlocked. A nice thing to know about hotkeys is that you can hotkey skills to use them even when your weapons are sheathed. So for example, I like to hotkey Solar Flare because you can use it instantly. Or another traditional example is Scar of Dusk or Warcry. Now I would like to talk about cancels in succession. We don't have many cancels, but it's nice to know the few that we have. So let's get into it. We have Evasion. Is a semi-cancel to cancel some of the succession skill, for example Solar Flare. Then we have our Block that can cancel some of the pre-awakening skills, so not much of succession skills, for example Ground Smash, or what I like to use, Deep Ground Slash. And then another cancel that I like to use a lot is a mix of Forward Slash and Evasion. They cancel each other. So I use, for example, in PvE to move around blobs, or to cancel Ground Smash, or Deep Ground Slash. There are more skills that you can cancel with this method, but it's mostly taking the hand of it. For example, I like to cancel even the spear spam with this method when there is a niche. Or if you do without a niche, you will actually move around. Could be useful for some situations. Oh, talking about the spear spam, the most traditional way for us as action to cancel it is Deep Thrust into Q block. So we can be 2 reds spamming spears. Then I wanted to quickly talk about Shield Strike and its mechanic. There are certain skills that trigger the second or the third hit, which are quite useful to know. So Pulverize trigger the third hit of Shield Strike, and is actually very good overall for Lingering Crit. This is all Lingering Critted. Then if you have Succession Spinning Slash, you can trigger the third hit of Shield Strike. I don't have, but if you have, you can. And then what I like to use as a bait is the first hit of Scar of Dusk into the third hit of Shield Strike. Then it's nice to know that Forward Slash trigger the second hit of Shield Strike, and Solar Flare trigger the second hit. Another good thing about Ground Smash Absolute is that it let us achieve a very fast Lingering Crit if we chain it with Chopping Kick right after. And this is the same velocity with the other cancel for the very fast Lingering Crit, but used mainly in PvE with Sideways Cut, Chopping Kick and Spinning Slash. Now, if you're interested, I will quickly showcase my movement pattern for long distance traveling with Secession, and it mainly involves combos, 2 sets of combos. Of course, you have charging thrust and forward slash, and then I have 2 sets of combos that I chain with them, which is mainly solar flare into jumping thrust and shield charge into counter into whirlwind slash into chopping kick. And altogether looks something like this. So, lingering crit. I will quickly explain what is and the main skills to trigger it. So, lingering crit is basically, as you can imagine, the lingering critical hit effect that has spinning slash, and it lingers to the next skill or the next couple of skills that usually don't have critical hit. So if a skill have like 50% critical hit rate or 0, with the lingering crit it will have 100% critical hit rate. Now we have to differentiate the 2 types of spinning slash, if we wanna call them like this. The normal spinning slash is lower, the lingering critted spinning slash, let's say, the one that allow us to lingering crit, is a bit faster. Not much, but there is a difference. The main skills to use to trigger the lingering crit. I like to divide them in active and passive, but I mostly use only the active. So, the most traditional one is chopping kick into spinning slash. Then we have sideways cut into spinning slash. For PvE you can even boost the velocity, how I explained it before, by doing sideways cut into chopping kick into spinning slash. Then we have pulverize into spinning slash, and even with nice timing, evasion into spinning slash, but this requires a bit of timing. You have just to take the hand of it. If it's too early, you don't trigger it. If it's too late, you don't trigger it. That was triggered. Okay. Then we have the passive lingering crit, which are block if you get hit and instantly use spinning slash, or with shield charge if you get hit meanwhile and you use spinning slash. But I never use them in PvP, of course, because it's too unreliable. Now I will quickly showcase the main skills that are nice to lingering crit, and they are pulverize into the 3rd hit of shield strike if you want to, or heavy strike, or shield strike, and of course ground slash into deep ground slash if you like, and if you feel fancy enough, even into the random spear. Okay, moving on into the PvP section now, I will showcase some combos, and right after I will analyze them by lowering them, so to show you exactly step by step, and depending if I'm doing 1v1, 1vx or xvx. Okay, this is my wombo combo. I use it mostly in 1v1, and it is among my combo the most damaging output that I can do, and it uses every debuff and add-ons that are specifically added for this purpose. And now let's see it in details. Okay, the classical grab start into ground slash for the DP debuff, and then I knock him down with spin counter into shield charge, which has the PvP add-on to remember, and it flow well with chopping kick into the lingering crit pulverize, and then the third hit of shield strike, and then I usually ground smash into dashing away with shield charge. This second combo I use strictly for 1v1 because I use 2 lingering crits and is more unprotected. I lingering crit pulverize, as you can see, and instantly lingering crit ground slash, and then I disengage. This third combo use pulverize as a starter after the grab to lingering crit ground slash, which will stiffen your opponent, and then knockdown, shield charge, and then lingering crit heavy strike the first 2 hit into ground slash. For this combo you have to pay attention because some classes get up really fast, but as a starter you do sideways cut, lingering crit ground slash, and then you knock him down, and then you do the usual combo, but instead you put pulverize into lingering crit ground slash, which make 3 lingering crits in this combo. And the same but with minor variation in the end. And now what I do in 1vx. A general rule in 1vx is to skip ground slash after the grab, because it's unprotected. Let's see this in the details. As you may have noticed, I don't lingering crit in this combo because it's 1vx, so I use mostly protected to semi-protected skills, even though sometimes when I feel safe, I try to lingering crit. One of my typical blob engage. My typical 1vx lingering crit. So as a general rule, to start a combo, in 1v1 you want to grab, ground slash and knock him down with the spin counter. Meanwhile in 1vx, you wanna skip the ground slash. In 1vx or xvx that is, keep moving with protected skills such as shield charge or chopping kick, and keep throwing SACCs such as ground smash or grab. Keep in mind that you can take advantage of environment. If you see a bottleneck or a narrow path, lure the enemies in it and spear them as they come, for example. In blob fights, rotate your protected CCs, chopping kick, ground smash, spin counter, or pulverize into the third hit of shield strike. But overall, if you see a dangerous class such as wizard or witch or guardian, try to grab them. You will help your blob a lot. Other than that, keep your block and iframe around. Now let's move into the PvE section of this guide. I will first show some samples of my grinding. Again, I'm not a master grinder, and then I will explain the combos and chains at the mannequins. See you in a bit. Okay, here at the mannequin now I will go slower so you can see each skills and follow from the top of the screen. As a general rule, I start with LingCrit Pulverize for the PvE add-on into LingCrit Ground Slash. Afterwards is situational. And here is what I do when I am out of VP. You can throw Solar Flare to get the minimum amount of VP necessary to throw then Scar of Dusk, which will charge you back up. Now sometimes, just to change a bit my PvE, I unlock Deep Ground Slash to use it instead of LingCrit the 2 hit of Heavy Strike. And I think it's all for this guide. I hope it will be at least kind of helpful for you guys. And if you have some doubts or questions, you can ask me in the comments or in Discord. And see you in the next time. Thanks guys.